Hello, beautiful beings. It's Martine. Lately, this conversation has become front and center in the clinic. Clients are feeling stuck, trapped in old emotional loops, and asking, how do I move beyond these patterns of projection, of feeling like a victim, of not knowing how to shift? So I've put together a simple 3-layered process. Not to flatten the richness of what we're working through, but to offer clarity, to spark elevation in energy and perspective, and to help us recognize not just the cycle, but the initiation that each layer offers. So let's walk through it together. Layer 1, I'm going to call projection. So it's the classic, you are not meeting my needs. This is our reactive stage. It's the part of us that points outward when our inner world feels unmet. You don't listen, you always leave, you made me feel this way. Here, we're identifying the other that as the cause of our discomfort. And while our feelings are valid, the invitation to pause and ask, where am I seeking the other to do the emotional heavy lifting for me? And when I feel triggered, what am I hoping they'll fix? Projection is natural, but it's also a signpost. It tells us we're ready to go deeper. Layer 2, I'm going to call ego awareness. So it's, I know I'm making it about me, but I'm stuck. So at this stage, it's different to the projection stage because we're not just outwardly projecting, we have an awareness to our projection. At this stage, a new consciousness arises and we can begin to see, I'm interpreting this through my own lens, I keep taking things personally, but I don't know how to stop just yet. So this layer is powerful and tender, and we're aware but we're looping, caught between seeing the story and still believing it. Guiding questions to break this cycle could be, what am I making this situation mean about me? Or if I say this is my truth, does that truth make me feel free? Because ultimately, the truth does set us free. So if it's not making you feel free, it's not really truth. So am I confusing truth with protection or identity? This stage often triggers the death cycle, the dismantling of self-concepts that no longer serve. It's raw, it's deeply uncomfortable, and it's essential. And then layer 3 makes us move into absolute and radical responsibility. Like, what is being reflected is my gift. Now we step into self-leadership. The energy shifts. Instead of reacting, we reflect. We ask, what is life showing me through this interaction? What would I be without the thought that they're wrong or failing me? And here we realize that every relationship becomes a mirror. The other isn't a villain. They're the initiator of our awakening. We have no choice but to bless them from this state. And this is also where vulnerability deepens. We begin to speak truth without clarity and accountability like being something that we're afraid of. It's non-performative, it's non-martyrdom, but it's grounded in power. So why we've avoided it until now is the question, because radical responsibility requires a shedding of identity. It asks us to face the discomfort of being seen in our truth, without the safety of blame or defense. But here's the magic. Responsibility is not punishment, it's liberation. It's the path to emotional sovereignty, real intimacy, and freedom from our own loops. Responsibility is almost given such a taint in its name too, because to feel responsible for something is often viewed as a burden. But in this case, it's absolute liberation because it connects us so deeply to ourselves and then to love. So in closing, I invite you gently, boldly, to sit with these layers, Notice where you land most often. Hold compassion for the loops that you find yourself in and begin asking, like, what is my responsibility here? Not as a burden, but as power. And how is this situation calling me into more truth, more love, more liberation? Thank you for being here, for doing this work. Share if it resonates, and let's keep walking the path layer by layer into wholeness.